Water delivery to Slate and Silver Quarries into Zherbai Quarries. Hello there everybody and welcome to another episode of SnowRunner here at Opafet Gaming. I am the Opafet. We got the call the other day to go and pick up this water truck and trailer. I put the water tank on the back of the truck. Pick up the trailer and get over to the water tower and pick up some water so that we can work on the task of the Way of Water, where we got to deliver 1,800 liters of water to the new Slate Quarry and 2,000 liters of water to the Silver Quarry. Now it just so happens that the trailer holds 2,000 liters and the truck holds 1,800. So we got to drag that trailer all the way to the bottom of one of the quarries, the silver one to be exact, which is the reason why we are here at the village on the very eastern part of the map, the right hand side. We're right up against the side near the top, and we're traveling south, and we got to go south for about the half the length of the map, and then we're going to be turning inland to reach the entrance to the quarry. Anyway, we'll get there in a minute. Anyhow, initially I had decided to make this video in one long video, do both deliveries, but it ended up being a little bit too long, so I decided to cut it in two with a very special ending, a surprise ending at the end of part one. So I hope you stick around for that and see what happens with the surprise ending. Anyhow, we are back on the track. We drove around behind the little buildings of the village, and we are now heading south on the road where the bridge is up ahead that we fixed not just a few days ago, I believe it was. Anyhow, we're going to drive down and make it all the way through, hopefully, to where we got to cut off. Now, this is not the quarry that's beside us right now. Is not the one that we want to go into. We got to go into the next one down. So on this side, you can access 2 of the 3 quarries, and then when you want to go to the 3rd quarry, you got to get to the other side, and I'll explain that when we get there. In the meantime, we are driving in our Avenhorn A15, very capable truck, absolutely awesome for these kinds of jobs. We are on the Zherbai Quarries map, which is the only map in the Almaty region, and we're going to do our best to deliver this water for the quarries. Hopefully they can get up and running again soon as we put all the little pieces back together again. So now I haven't driven through this back part here too many times. I think maybe twice, and one of those times was when I was clearing the map and getting the watchtower, so it was quite a while ago. So I'm not too familiar with the road, but you know, you just basically follow the tracks, and I did put my trusty Scout out, my Ford 750, to let me know where I got to turn inland to go into the quarry, so that'll be helpful. In the meantime, we're just going to have to kind of rediscover this road together, as I can't remember for the life of me which way it went, or what it even looks like, or how easy it is to get over it. But I'm sure that any problems that the road is going to throw up at us, the Avenhorn, I'm sure, will be able to take care of it for us and pull us through with flying colors. We just got to, like I always say, we just got to go a little on the slow side, which is one of the reasons why I like to drive this truck in the high range of the low gear. It gives you regular power, and you can only go, it'll only let you go so fast, but what it does, what I like, is it keeps your truck from shifting up and down all the time, which is what it does when it's under labor in the hills like this in automatic. So we like to drive it in this gear. It's a little bit slower, but then it's the perfect speed for this kind of a road. Because can you imagine going around this corner a little bit too fast? You hit a couple of rocks and you're laying on your side, and you got to call out to Tuz to come and rescue you. We don't want to do that. We want to try and drive a clean job. Take it easy and get there in one piece. Better to be 5 minutes later and be there in one piece than being 10 minutes earlier and not getting there at all. So anyhow, we are doing pretty good. We're cutting through it like you wouldn't believe. We're advancing, and soon we'll be at the entrance to the quarry, which is going to be an whole nother episode. It should be a video on its own, because the quarry that we got to go into, the Silver Quarry, is the biggest of the three, meaning of course that you got to go around and around the outside until you get to the bottom. The bigger it is, the longer it's going to take. Of course, that only makes sense, but that's okay, because sooner or later after going, we will eventually get to the bottom. So, I've got a little bridge to go across down here, and then we'll be at the turning point in the journey. Just about. We're just going to there we go. We can see the Ford sitting there waiting for us. That's a nice way of doing it, leaving a scout sitting for you if you're not sure where to turn. And that way, if you need fuel, well, we don't need any because we can fuel up at the bottom of the quarry. There's a fuel trailer there. But if you needed fuel, you can get it from the Ford here, as long as you weren't going to use him anymore. So, thanks for letting us know where we got to turn there, buddy. We'll catch you on the fly. Now comes the... well, going down is not too bad. There's a couple of little tough spots, but look at this. There, it's too bad there isn't a little sliding side spot or just like a slip and slide when you go right to the bottom. But no, you got to drive round and round until you get there. Most of this is not too bad. It's pretty standard driving. Almost any truck you can do this with well, the Kenworth gets a little tough because he's got such a long frame, but I imagine we could probably figure out a way to do it so that you can get there. But you could use the Plaid, you could use the Mack Defense, you could use almost any of them. I like using this. It's not a preference of the fact that the Avenhorn will do it better. That's not it. It's that I like driving the Avenhorn better. It's got a nice wide stance, and I love the growl of the engine. And nice short frame. So anything you put on it, like this tank too, you put it on a narrower stance of the truck, like the Mack Defense, and he sways a little bit more. I've never really been a fan of the swaying of back and forth. So with the Avenhorn, it sits nice and solid, and it feels like that when you're driving it in the game. So I really enjoy that. Now we're finally going to start heading down, and if you look to the left, you can see the road coming back. That's the road we got to take, because that road will take us around, and then it'll take us out of the quarry on the other side. Because we can't come back out this way because we won't be able to access the Slate Quarry from that side. We have to go to the other side. So, and once we get past this point to leave, when we leave, it becomes a little bit more difficult. It's a whole new ball game. But stick around and you'll find out. Now we got to turn the day cycle ahead so that we can see where we're driving. Stick around and you'll find out what I'm talking about. It's a whole new ball of wax. This is actually enjoyable. Now it's when you go through a little mud pit like this with a little Scout, or even with the Ford 750, it takes a little bit of time, but of course the bigger the truck, the bigger the tires, the more power, and the Avenhorn doesn't really labor all that much, and most of the big trucks will go through this pretty good. But every once in a while you got to go to the bottom of the pit with a Scout, and I forgot all about that, and I got in here with the 750 Ford, and it took a little while to get through. So keep that in mind if you're doing it with a Scout. Now, another thing that I would just like to add, we had to go pick this trailer up from a different point and brought it to the water pump, the water place, and loaded it up there. Now, whenever you have a task where you got to find a trailer and bring it and then load it, when you finished unloading it, don't leave it there. A little bit of advice, take it with you. Don't leave it at the bottom of the pit, because you never know. Part of the contract or task might end up that you have to bring the trailer with you. So you're already down at the bottom, the trailer is empty, it's no hassle bringing it back with you. Even if you don't have to bring it anywhere later, it's not really a hassle bringing it back out. So I would suggest to bring it out no matter what kind of a situation you're in. So that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to bring it back out just in case. Now over here is, they keep this area a little bit cleaner. Not so many rocks laying around, I guess closer to the office, you know. I don't know how these people would get down here. You certainly wouldn't want to be driving your pickup truck down here every day. Anyhow, we're coming around the corner here, and we can see that the Western Star, or the Kenworth 963, not the Western Star. The Kenworth 963 is sitting there from a previous job. Now there again, like I always say, when you have a job and you're finished, don't right away take your truck out of there unless you need them somewhere else. But I haven't needed the Kenworth, so I've left them there. And any fuel that he had left over on the roof or in the tank is all available to be used for if you need it with any other truck that you come down. Or if there is something down at the bottom of the quarry that later on shows that you've got to bring it back up, he can do it because he's already there. So we're going to drop off the water from the trailer, and we don't keep the water in the truck. Like I said, the truck's got 1,800 liters in it, and that's exactly what we need for the bottom of the new Slate quarry. Now, we're not going to take the fuel out of the Kenworth this time. We got a little fuel trailer sitting right there. We're going to fuel up from him. I think he's still got a little bit left in him. All right. He had 468. Now he's got 303 liters left in him. So if at one point I need the Kenworth and I got to recover him, if I'm not going to drive him out and I got to recover him to the garage, I will drive him over to that little fuel trailer and I will give all the fuel that's in the Kenworth to the little fuel trailer because it stays. So it's just replenishing your fuel for just in case you need it down the road. You might not, but I mean it's the little bit of extra seconds that it takes to put the fuel in the little trailer. Not a showstopper. Anyhow, now we're back on our way out, and we got to just chug along until we get to the very top. Then when we get to the very top, the plan is to, when you leave the quarry, there is a little bridge and then a T, and you got to turn to the right to go to the Slate quarry. So that's what we were going to do. That was the plan. But plans sometimes get twisted around and turned around and do not go exactly as planned. And when that happens, then you've got to have a backup. You got to always be prepared and be ready to react to whatever happens. It's not what happens, it's how you react to it. And if you're ready for it, then you're so much the better. Whenever I had a problem in this game, I always thought, well, recover, I suppose, but that's not the answer. That's not always, not always, but it is the answer. It's the ultimate answer. So as we're coming through here, it's the same thing as when we were going down. You just got to take it easy, miss most of the biggest boulders that you can, and chug along. Yeah, this little narrow area looks worse from this side than it did from the other side. And then got a big crack in the rock there. But then again, we got that twin steer in the front, so I'm not worried about that. It looks narrower than it really is. It's probably because of the big drop off on the side of the cliff there. I think that's it's a little deceiving. So anyhow, as we're coming up and around here, around the bend, we're almost at the stage where we came down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go straight instead of up the hill. Just up ahead there. Anyhow, we got a surprise ending for you, and I sure hope that you'll be back for part 2, where I will explain to you what happened in the surprise ending, why it happened and why it should not have happened. And we'll go over all of that as we are almost at the end of this video. And here's where we're going to go straight, and then we're going to, well, you'll see what happens. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you back for part 2. Until then, we are attempting water delivery to the Slate and Silver Quarries with our Avenhorn A15. With me as the driver. Sometimes not the best. The Opafet.